Thank you for joining us today. It's a really exciting day. We actually have 3 generations of Shaws / Butcher here, and we just want to share a little bit about how Coffee Beanery started and just where it is today and where it's going. So we kind of have the origin, current, and the future all in the room. So we thought it'd be fun to...
Butcher, you got it kind of right on our 12-year anniversary for once.
I know.
You've been married 12 years.
We've been married for 7, but together for 12.
I just saw
and
your
we
anniversary
kept our
pop
anniversary exactly the same so that, we wouldn't forget it.
Good idea.
It popped up today. I was going to say, is it your anniversary?
It is.
There's so many things that happen so quickly with Julius's birthday, Coffee Beanery's birthday, your anniversary.
Well, yesterday was Grandpa's birthday, my mother-in-law's birthday, and Martin's birthday, all on the same day. It's crazy.
So what's 9 months before then? Is it really cold or something?
Something.
Celebration Day, January 1st? No, that wouldn't work. But, so we're here. I'm Britton. I know I'm not
No,
Britton.
you're not.
I'm Lori.
And I'm Joanne.
And I'm Britton. So you got my last name right today, but not your first name. We're halfway there.
Oh my goodness. And so we're really fortunate to have Joanne here, who her and her husband Julius started the Coffee Beanery back in
1976.
And she's just going to tell us a little bit about her story and how she came up with this idea.
Feel free to pop in with questions that you want answered.
Absolutely.
This might be your only chance. We had a coffee service business, and everywhere I would deliver coffee, people would say, or not everywhere, but when I was trying to sell new accounts, they'd say, well, I really like the smell, but I don't like the taste. And in the early 70s, there wasn't really good coffee that you could buy in the grocery store. So I asked my husband if we could build a store that sold the finest coffee available, and thinking that people would like a really good coffee and it would become a success.
Which is funny because the early stores weren't to sell beverages. They were to sell bags of coffee, which I just think is so interesting. Like, it was literally a coffee store where you would go purchase coffee bags.
Good morning.
Morning, Jennifer.
Well,
You can't even see the TV.
I can't see the TV. I know, I'm horrible.
And so we had to find a place to put this, and there was a new regional mall being built in a suburb of Detroit. And when I walked in, there weren't any stores. It was just construction. But I could envision people going around in all these little spaces, and I thought it'd be a wonderful place to build that kind of store.
Was that Fairlane?
Fairlane Town
It is,
Center.
and it's still a really nice mall.
Yeah, and we actually... a while ago we did a post and we asked our customers to share what stores they worked at, and a few of our customers actually worked at the Fairlane Mall store.
They probably worked with me then.
Yeah.
So over, I think it was 9 months to a year, we finally got the first store open. And we actually had to beg to be able to serve drinks. The mall wasn't going to let us do that.
And it was more like sampling, right? They would sample the
yeah,
coffees on their shelves.
That's what we told them to begin with. But it became a real popular thing to come in and get a cup of coffee. And we had to use hard cups. Or they were actually...
like ceramic cups?
No, they were melamine.
Oh, okay.
And people kept stealing them. But literally. But so we had a dishwasher in this tiny little store, and it was quite interesting. But at that time, we invented a drink called the Hot Spice Viennese, and I did that in my kitchen. It took me 2 or 3 days because it had to be easy to make and had to be the best tasting drink you could get. And I created a special formula to add to it, which was kind of sugar and cinnamon, but a secret ingredient.
And we sell
too.
that too because a lot of people asked for that drink in particular, and they wanted to make it at home. So we do sell little.
Yep, if you go to
hot spice
the
beanies.
merch drop down, all the way at the bottom, there's drink mixes, and that will take you right to the hot spice beanies,
Hi,
and
Mom.
you can buy bags. Dad says hi, Mom.
So anyway, that became real popular, and I would.
And nobody was doing anything like that.
No.
Like that was, I mean, I just love how sometimes you were almost too early to the market in some of the things, but just always, Joanne is always coming up with something new and just is such a forward thinker. It is really,
Yeah, I'm a bit of a visionary.
a
I have
lot
my
of a
moments,
visionary.
that's for sure. But so another mall came and asked us to open a store. So we, in 9 years, we opened 8 stores, all on a wing and a prayer with no money. And then in 1985, someone asked us if they could become a franchisee or franchise our stores. And so we learned how to franchise, which basically is helping people get in business for themselves, but not by themselves, and sharing all of our knowledge and all of our
Which is a nice way to put it, because it is, I mean, when you build that structure, it takes so much time and effort to build that structure, and then sharing that with other people is a really great way to do it. Because if you have to rebuild that infrastructure yourself, it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Just even sourcing coffee alone is a lot of work.
Well, there's been so much research and development over the years that the franchise is so much better, more sophisticated, easier to use, easier to train your people than what we were back then.
I can't even imagine, because we've got videos. We've got all the digital marketing, even just photos, taking photos. It's all digital, where it was like hard photos.
We had to hire people to make posters for signs in our stores back then. Now it's all of our marketing is so sophisticated and so much easier for the franchisees. So it's come a long way. Any
it's fun.
Questions?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions for everybody just joining us, feel free to put them in the comments.
And then Joanne, really, I mean, I think it's really important, and I know you're so modest, so you're not going to say it, but I mean, I think that you being especially the first woman chair of the IFA, the International Franchise Association, was you're a huge mentor to other women, ourselves included. But just to pave that road for people. And do you want to kind of, I know you've talked about before, but describe what it felt like to go into the IFA at that time period? Yeah,
our first trip, we joined the International Franchise Association to gain knowledge on franchising. It's a wonderful association, and it's very, very helpful for franchises. So anyway, we joined the association. The first convention that we went to, I think it was in Hawaii, and everybody was tall, because I'm short. I'm just over 5 foot. And all these suits. And I said, oh, okay, it's all these men. It was a ton of men. But I did, they needed a woman on the board of directors. So I was recruited to be on the board of directors. And the very first meeting, there was another woman there. But then she left, so I was the only woman with the board of directors for the International Franchise Association for several years.
And how many people were on that board? It was quite big.
It was back then, I think it was in 25.
Okay, so you're in there with 24 men.
Yeah, exactly.
At a time period where women weren't totally respected in the business sphere.
Things have changed a lot.
Yeah, things have changed a lot since then. I mean, it was tough.
But anyway, I served as chairman of probably every committee that they had, and ultimately they asked me to move in the chairs, which you start out and you were in the chairs for like 3 years, and then you move as chairman of the association, and then you stay for another year, and then after that you're past chairman forever, which is kind of cool. And that was, the organization was 40 years old when they finally had a woman chairman. But since then, there have been many bright, wonderful women to be part of the association, be part of the board, move into the chair. And I think it's been really good for the association. And it's good for franchising, because I think women look at things much differently than men do. Not that there are some men that are more inclusive, but I think women are more nurturing and tend to try to help their franchisees make sure that they have an opportunity for success.
Like more of a mothering role.
When I think in the business, and we found really, it would segue kind of into my story, that neither of us came up a traditional route in business. Neither of us went to business school, right? No. I went to college. I graduated from college with a teaching degree. So I've got an education degree, and started working for Joanne for a summer as her executive secretary, and had 5 little babies at home, and it was just too much. And so I hired you as the secretary.
Yeah, and trained her.
At the end of the time. And then I started doing projects. So fundraising, which I actually just wrote my first chapter of my book about this. Fundraisers, and that was a big, I don't know if you know, I stayed up all night. I stayed up all night before I asked you to be in charge of fundraising.
Really?
It was that big of a thing to ask to do that. And it was really putting myself out there. I talked about that. And I don't know why. It was just, I don't even know why. But it was just to ask for something. It was very bizarre. But then I started fundraising, and then I just kind of started doing other departments and kind of fixing other departments. But that's not what we thought. I just went and kind of looked at systems and standards. I'm good at that kind of stuff. And then you asked me to go into marketing.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was telling me that she wanted me to take over marketing. I thought I was just going into marketing. So Britt and I were on our spring break trip.
Yeah.
We were graduating from high school. And I was reading Marketing for Dummies on my trip. Oh. And then I came home, and you're like, no, I wanted you to be in charge of marketing. I was like, oh, okay. Let's not pay me very much more, and we'll see how it goes. But it was actually really fun. Marketing is great. I think a lot of it's intuitive. I love to read. I love to learn. So that really helped in that role. And I will say it was really, it's an amazing gift when somebody believes in you. Even though I didn't have a marketing degree, I do have some business background. I went to school for some business, but it was pretty extraordinary. That I wasn't sure, Marketing for Dummies, but we had some established team members too, so that really helped with the process. So. And then, I did marketing and worked part-time for quite a while the kids were growing up. So it was such a blessing that I could have that business experience but still be at home for the kids too. But then I just kept getting more and more involved.
Yeah.
And then, 8? I always keep saying 8, but it probably is more than 8 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long after
we started a new business process, and it was just really good to kind of redefine the company. And at that time, Joanne put me in charge of Coffee Beanery, and it was a big transition for everybody. But it worked out really well, because honestly, I was doing a lot of it behind the scenes anyway, and now I had more authority to actually make the decisions and being able to get people in their right roles.
Yeah. Good morning, Bill. The banana nut bread is fabulous.
Oh, I do love that banana. That's a hidden favorite. That and butter rum, both, I think are so
I always
good.
say I really thought I wouldn't like banana, and I really like it.
I do too.
I was surprised. There we go. There's Patty.
Oh,
2015.
thank you. 2015.
Okay, so that's 12 years.
Oh gosh.
It's
8.
7 years.
7.
Yeah.
7? Okay.
7 years.
7 years. Okay,
That's
so
when
8.
you became,
I think I said, maybe I said 5 forever.
when you became COO.
Right.
like officially.
Okay. So before that, I was director of store and marketing. Oh,
And
that's
operations,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But every role that you fulfilled, you've done exceptionally well. So without her, we certainly wouldn't have had the growth and the change that we've had, the positive changes.
It is, and we follow the EOS principles
Yeah.
and system, and that really helped. And it is so like innate to how I feel a business should be run, kind of starting with core values,
Yeah.
Getting the right people and training people and being mentoring people. Like they don't need to already have done the job for 20 years. You know, you can mentor people into things.
Well,
And
how
we're
many times do we
fortunate with
hire
experience.
somebody for something and we're like, that's not your fit, but this is where you should be, and then we move them over, and
Yes.
they're so successful in that role because
And
that's
I think
where they should have
building
been.
that trust with people that they know that you have your best interest at heart. Because I say this all the time, but Will, who I adore, when he comes to my office, I'm like, career path, you know, talking about what's his strengths, weaknesses, what he likes to do, and he just says, I trust you. I trust that you know me and you know where I'll be successful, whatever you think. It's like, oh, what a huge responsibility and privilege that is.
Yeah.
For someone to give that to. It's pretty cool. And not there's missteps. I mess up all the time. The cold brew is the cold brew.
Who doesn't
The
mess
cold
up?
brew fiasco. But you can't be afraid to try. And that's,
No.
I think, one of the best lessons I learned from you, and probably you have too, is you can't be afraid to try. And try something new, and it's not always going to work.
No.
True.
And sometimes we're saved by ourselves. Like there's been some opportunities that thank goodness didn't come our way.
That's true.
Even a store closure that just happened recently, and you know, we got a better opportunity in that city, so it actually worked out really well for us, and I'm glad that opportunity didn't come through, and it didn't feel right if it didn't mess with our culture and who we are. So
For sure.
and then we have Britain.
Yeah.
Thank God for Britain.
Oh, you know, it's like just and I kind of think of this as parenting. I say to my kids, take what I did as a parent and do the things I did well, and then just improve on the negatives and just be a better parent. Can you imagine if every generation people were better parents? And that's kind of how I think about it as business. Look at it, see what, do you know what I mean? And then the culture and everything changes.
Yeah.
I mean, the culture that you were in to now women are leaders all over the place.
Yes.
And now Britain.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what the future holds.
For
But
sure.
tell us a little bit about your path.
I mean, we were always told that we were not allowed to work in the business without.
Who told you this? You've said this before.
Dad told us, Grandma told us. No, and it was we could work in the business, but we had to go out and have another job first.
Yeah.
That was the
Okay.
rule.
Yeah.
We had to go out and have another job first, and then and bring experience back to the business. So in college and high school, though, we were allowed to work in stores. Like if we had to go interview and apply and all of that stuff. And I applied a couple of times at a store by my college, and I never, landed an interview. And then later I did land an interview at the Miller Road store, and I ended up working there for a few years while I was in college. My senior year, I desperately needed an internship, and you guys desperately needed help.
And you were going into marketing, so it all worked out.
Yep, so it just kind of worked out. And then at the end, I mean, I brought my own desktop. I brought my own table. Like, I brought my own things to the office to be able to work here. That's how ridiculous it was. Because we just didn't have any extra stuff. There was no computers for me.
Right.
There was, so I brought everything from home. I got all set up. And I did my internship, and
We're already do it yourself.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Yeah. At the end of my internship, you guys sat me down and asked me if I would be interested in staying. And I still assumed I had to go somewhere else.
And see, and that's so funny you always say that, because in my thought process a little bit, like I understand the value of that going somewhere else, but I always think you guys are so talented. If you go somewhere else, we're never getting you back.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I started in marketing, and then my dad was doing the website. at that point in
Well,
time.
because you have got a graphic design, your
Yeah.
international business graphic design and marketing,
Yeah,
right?
those are my
Yeah.
degrees.
Mhm.
So had a lot of fun taking a lot of classes in college.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of drawing.
A lot of drawing. Yep. I'm not very great at drawing. I'm just not good at it.
Well, you're creative in a very structured way.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Because it's crazy that you can do graphics, but you can do HTML code too, like coding too.
Yeah.
So it's like you're a structured graphic.
Yeah. I like structured art.
Yes.
Or abstract. It's got to be completely abstract. I can't like make a person. It's not going to look like a person.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I've got kindergarten art syndrome over here.
So yeah, some of my higher level art classes in college were a little bit interesting.
I thought you did good though.
The
You pushed
professors
yourself
took
into
pity
well.
on me a little bit, I think.
Oh, I think it
compared
was
to everybody
wonderful.
else. But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in marketing, just kind of helping you guys out, and then graphic design.
And
ended
then the
up-
website.
Yeah. And then my dad and the accountant handed me a website. And it was
Literally, what I just remember about the website, which was to me so funny, it was like there were equations in the website. Like a pound was $10, and then 3 pounds would be
plus
10
yeah.
plus 20.
Yes.
And a sampler would be like 10 minus 879. And you had to like literally do the math
Yeah.
to figure out how much your product was. I mean, great for them for starting a website because
Yeah,
it's a lot.
absolutely.
Especially today, it's a lot easier to do a website.
Yeah.
So great on them doing that, but I was just like, yeah, this isn't what a website
and then
looks
remember
like.
the orders would come in, and then we'd print them on this paper, and then Janelle would have to put them into our system, and it was this crazy.
But do you remember the shipping too? To get to the shipping, you had
that
to like
book.
check out. No, you had to go check
Oh, yeah.
out to see the shipping charge for that one, and then if you didn't like it, you had to go back, select a different
No,
one.
I don't remember
go
that. I
forward.
remember though the shipping book we had at the shipping desk, and you would find the rate in the thing so that you would know what zone to put in and all this crazy stuff. It was awful. And you guys were actually at the last stages of developing a new website when I came in.
Okay.
And then the person designing it said, we
Yes.
want $10,000 or
Yes.
something crazy to do the last page.
Yes. And it was customized every step of the way. Like
Every
every
single
single thing
thing.
would have to do, there would be a cost to.
Yes.
We were married to that website, and it was
Yes.
it was
It was awful.
not great.
So we found a different company, and within, 6 months, we had...
And haven't we spent over a year, I think, building the website, or just
you guys had spent
maybe
a
more,
really long
time, and a lot of
really
effort
long
too.
time. Yep. And we totally shifted directions.
We did.
Which
We
was
just
really
started
tough,
over.
but I think it was the right move. So that's kind of when I got into e-commerce. I was still doing all the marketing, a little bit involved in operations and stuff. And
If you notice, we don't wear one hat here.
Yeah.
We always do a lot of things, but especially for COVID, that helped tremendously.
well,
that
yeah, the
we were
website
able to do
became
that.
overwhelming, and so now I'm not involved in marketing
No.
nearly as much as I used to be. Still a
Just
lot
directing
of
the
social.
marketing for
Yeah.
the e-commerce.
Yeah,
and other
exactly.
things.
And helping our graphic designer when needed. Sometimes she's pretty good and on top of projects, but every once in a while it's like, I just can't do this. I need a second. So
Right.
I can always jump in.
Well, and to your credit, I mean, what you have learned and so fortunate that you've had people mentor and kind of take you under your wing and show you how to get better and better in different apps. And what nobody tells you is that
YouTube is the best.
YouTube is great.
resource.
But nobody tells you, like, you put this website out and it's like you think, oh, I'm going to get these sales and sales and sales. Well, no, you have to just keep spending more money to
Yeah.
get sales and spending more money.
Yeah.
And I think that was our biggest shock is just
Yeah.
how much you have to keep like I thought once you got customers, that ball would be rolling and you know,
Yeah.
then the expenditures keep
No, and
coming.
there's this really cool community of people on Facebook and on the internet and on YouTube, and they're willing to just share what they've learned.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
You can find awesome podcasts, awesome resources, and once you find once you get in like with one of those people, they kind of spread and they're like, hey, you really need to meet this person, and it's just amazing.
Oh,
what you
Charles,
find.
that's really sweet. And
I know.
that chocolate covered cherry, I was just smelling it yesterday.
No, there's literally like 10 bags left.
I am voting for it to be in the regular lineup too. So I'm there with you.
Yeah, the K-Cups
because it is fabulous.
Gone. The 12 ounce
And
is
he found
almost
us off
gone.
Facebook. That's interesting.
Off Facebook? Nice.
Yay.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time on social media, and we love social media because we actually get to engage with you guys and learn who our customers are and spend some time there. It's a unique opportunity.
Well, it is really nice, and I mean, we go out in the community and we hear people. Oh, I was with a mall, and my mom would get me a coffee, and and I love those stories of the stores and that whole thing. And now it's kind of fun to have that same kind of experience online with our customers.
Absolutely.
Isn't also the future now, what's coming, the new franchise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're excited about that. We showcased it last week, the new design, which I think just opens up opportunity. And we've got 3 new partners that in the last couple weeks. Sloan Museum just opened. We've had a couple in Tennessee open. We're franchising is
hopefully coming to a city near you.
Yes, huge, because you can't really recreate the drinks online and the ambiance. The stores have a special spot, and probably in your heart, because that's the beginning, that's the origins of us. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of our stores are actually selling the LTO coffees that we're doing online, and they get exclusive access first. So then the website really just gets what's left over.
Yes. And it is really meant to be an LTO. I know. I mean, it's tough because some of them are good, but some of them are intended to be an LTO. Like, they're not a flavor you're going to drink all the time, probably. No. Although candy buttons at our corporate store has been flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I think
people are loving candy buttons.
So good.
Mm-hmm. So good. It's fun to have that.
No, but it's exciting. I mean, just the changes from when I've started until now have been leaps and bounds.
Huge. And really, COVID was such a difficult time period, just I think emotionally on everybody, but really it's almost, we had this Phoenix rebirth during that for the e-commerce and really understanding, like, we really, I mean, I'm going to say it seems kind of weird, like, oh, we're going to sit here and talk. Like, who wants to listen to us? Do you know what I mean?
But then we get to have conversations.
But it is nice. Oh, yeah.
Do you think Delaware would be a good market?
Delaware is a good market.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can do some research with you, too, if you have a specific area. We have lots of tools.
Yeah, we've got, like, 3 areas that we're building out, and Delaware's right in one of those.
Another apple-flavored K-Cup. September, maybe.
Usually. So.
Ask us to, someone messaged us asking us to open in Delaware.
Maybe, Bill. Maybe. If I have to go to Delaware and check it out, I will. So, I think it's really nice. It's nice. We truly are a small family company. We were back there all doing orders yesterday with our birthday sale.
Well, it's cool, too, because most of us started in a store. I mean, pretty much everybody here has worked from the bottom up. There's nobody who's not, anybody would be willing to jump back into a store or pull orders. Oh, yeah,
Patty started in a store. It is.
We'll just do whatever.
And I think that's important. I think that, just because you have the right last name doesn't mean you get a position anywhere. Yeah. Like, you really have to earn your way to where you are.
Absolutely.
And really use your strengths, or else you can't artificially be in a place, or it doesn't really it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the people around you or yourself.
Sure.
And just finding that, and it's really exciting, I think, to watch my kids grow up and find their strengths, whether it be in the company or elsewhere. It's just funny. It's fun to just see you guys grow into your own
It'll be
people.
interesting, too, to see what Sedona does at some point, because she's almost like a mid-generation. Like, it's like we have a 3.5.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Because she's not quite with us.
I almost brought her on like as a fourth generation. I'm like, oh, she's not a fourth
No,
generation.
she's not, but she almost is.
Yeah.
She's right in the middle, you know, because you got my kids who are little, but
Yes.
then she is. She's like a 3.5.
So if you don't know, Kevin and I, my husband, Joanne's son, Kevin, and I had 5 kids in 6 years. Crazy, I know. I don't know if I recommend it, but it was a lot of fun. So 4 of the 5 work here in the company. Britton is our director of e-commerce. Logan, our eldest son, runs the production. Houston is in sales, and Branson runs the distribution. So, and then London is off in Italy on a yacht.
Yeah.
Actually, they just moved to Greece.
She
I
works
think.
on a yacht.
She does. So
Yeah.
she's like that below deck. So she
Yeah.
has a really wonderful life. And then 14 years later, we had a bonus baby.
Surprise.
So our 6th child, which I said
Yeah.
5 kids and a baby forever because it just sounded
Well,
ridiculous
we're
to have
19 years
6
apart.
kids.
Sedona and I are 19 years apart.
So you
I
could
mean,
be her mom.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's interesting. We have a 12-year-old as well. So it will be interesting how she fits.
She's puppy
in.
sitting right now, which is a great job for her. Oh, see, look. I worked at the Concord Mall. I've been to
Yeah.
Concord Mall. I managed Bath and Body
Sure.
Works. Awesome.
Yeah.
Small world.
Worked here in Concord too. Isn't it funny? It is like that game, like that Kevin Bacon. Like there's like 3 degrees of
Yeah.
separation
Yeah.
between the Coffee Beanery and
Yeah.
even
That's awesome.
Michelle, who was our graphic. She worked at Coffee Beanery. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
so funny how many people
Like, it was
have
my
such
first job.
memories.
Yeah.
Which is great, isn't that?
Yeah.
Is that pretty overwhelming? Like you started that, and now people like are so connected to it.
Yeah, but it's a privilege.
It is.
It's a blessing. It's not overwhelming.
No, it is. We are so blessed,
We
and
are.
it's so blessed to be part of a brand that just has so much nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, when people are saying, "I've been drinking your coffee for 20 years," I
Yeah.
start off every day
She needs
with it.
a 3.5 generation t-shirt.
That's a great idea.
So it is. So that's kind of where Coffee Beanery started, and obviously we're gonna say without Julius, who I know we focus on Joanne a lot.
Oh,
Without Julius, Joanne's husband of how many years?
61.
61 years. You don't even look 61.
When I asked him if we could build a store, he said yes. And otherwise, none of this would have happened.
And he always found the money when we
He
needed
always
it.
found the money.
He always found the money,
Yeah.
one way or another. And
To
to
grow.
have someone believe in you like that and
Yeah.
believe in your dream and support it, like risking everything, house and everything, time and time again,
Yeah.
is, I think, one of the most, is not the most important blessing, but what a great blessing in a marriage.
And to have a man that's strong enough to let a woman lead the company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And be happy about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
take not a backseat position.
Yeah.
Because
Be
it's not.
behind the scenes, but never backseat.
No. Well, just in externally to
Right,
the world. Do you know what
right,
I mean? But of
right.
course, and they just sit, but he's really the one pushing the train, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Pretty amazing. Jennifer said it back then. It was super exciting to be at a mall with a CB in it.
Oh, that's great.
well, it was funny because we opened one in a college, and everybody was like, "It's like Disney in here." They like loved it. They were so
Yeah.
excited
Well,
to
I
have
even
her.
went to Sam's Club the other day, and the woman checking me out, she looked so familiar. And I looked at her tag and said Sheila, and I was like, I went up and I'm like, did you used to work at the mall? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, I worked at Coffee Beanery. And she goes, oh my gosh, I remember you.
Yeah.
Just so funny.
It is funny. It's just such a small world.
61 years. That is amazing.
It is.
Well, one of the things I'm most proud of is you and Kevin have been married how long?
33 years.
And our other son and his wife have been married at least that long,
Yeah,
maybe
36,
35,
36 years.
So that's my legacy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is kind of interesting when you go to family gatherings because a lot of them, there's just a lot of grandparents, a lot of, and there's not that. I mean, that is, I think we're just all really stubborn.
Persistent. Yeah.
So, but no, that's huge, and what a great legacy to to our kids.
Yeah.
Choose carefully, and then just figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, or be lucky like I was.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are pretty lucky, and to do business together and state that. I mean, I think that complicates things
a lot,
because I know when my role changed, it is that dynamic shift is a lot to work through. I mean, I went from this little baby homemaker, which my husband loves when I hold babies. I think that's what he likes me, is just the baby homemaker.
So Shaw's equals stubborn. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Even the younger, the third generation too.
Oh yeah, super stubborn.
They'll come to me. Someone won't listen to me.
Aw, Jennifer, that's so sweet.
Oh, I didn't.
She says that, Joanne, your family is so amazing. I feel so connected to your brand, which is cheesy, but I love these chats in the VIP group.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's really sweet.
That's really sweet. Thank you, Jennifer.
In case you're wondering why we reread the comments, Lori can't see. My mom can't see that far. So I'm
so blind, and it's a big TV. It's not like a little TV over there. But I'm just blind. But you know what? Being blind is great because I just have a natural filter for everybody. So everybody looks so beautiful to me.
Greetings, Reagan. From St. Clair.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful town.
Really pretty. Well, I think that's all we have for today. If you have any questions, we're always open to them. And hopefully you found just a little bit more about Coffee Beanery and where we started, where we are, and where we're going.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
We're excited.
Thanks for joining us on the journey.
Along.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.